How strong is Luffy? Monkey D. Luffy. I've said this many times, but recently I haven't been saying it that much, but let me say it again. Luffy is a battle genius, and I'm going to explain why he's a battle genius, and this video is going to be a long video discussing how strong Luffy is. I've done so much how strong with many characters, but I've been saving Luffy because I just wanted to wait a little bit. I wanted to talk about other characters and then finally get to the main character. Personally, my favorite character in the series, Monkey D. Luffy. Following throughout the series, Luffy, man, he's just a G, man. He does what he does, yo. So honestly, this is going to be a long video discussing Luffy and how strong he is. And the thing I see mostly when I'm talking about Luffy and his strength is a lot of people assume that he didn't really work that hard for what he got, and it's kind of crazy because they think just because he had adult food that Luffy was already crazy powerful. But honestly, if you look back at Luffy from a child all the way to what he is now, he has continuously worked at it, trying to get stronger and trying to get better to improve himself and to protect the people around him. And I gotta respect that about Luffy. So definitely Luffy is not at the top right now. Luffy is definitely not a top tier character, but he will be there. End of story. Luffy will be a top tier character, if not the strongest character in the One Piece story. Yeah. Now, if you guys, a lot of people tell me that they skipped the actual flashback of Ace, Sabo, Luffy, and I'm like, whoa, how could you skip such a crazy, amazing flashback? Maybe because it was just after Marineford and they just wanted to get to this current storyline and they didn't want to see a flashback. But honestly, it's one of my favorite flashbacks in the entire series. Seeing Luffy as a kid and he's battling Ace and Sabo, and he never beats Ace and Sabo. And the crazy thing about that is Luffy had adult fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and Sabo and Ace did not have adult fruit at the time, and they would always beat Luffy. This showcases that just because you have fruit doesn't mean you're automatically a powerhouse. So Luffy, you never beat them. And another crazy thing was Luffy did not perfect his Gomu Gomu no pistol until he was the age of 14. When Ace was leaving at the age of 17 to become a pirate, Luffy finally perfected that punch. It just showcases how hard he worked at it, because as a kid his punch was so wobbly, and probably at the age of 17, Gatling, whip, the bell, like all these attacks that are named after weapons, he probably perfected at the age of 17. So that's why in the beginning of the series we see Luffy, he's pretty strong. He's not like amazingly strong, but he's pretty strong as a character. He has pretty crazy moves, and he didn't just get those moves at the age of 17. He worked at it for at least 10 years. Now in the East Blue, there's not really much we can talk about. A lot of the opponents Luffy actually fought were pretty much not that strong compared to him. Like, the most difficulty he had was versus Arlong, and we all saw that Luffy, it wasn't really that difficult. Luffy still took out Arlong. The most difficult thing about that fight was he was trapped underwater. But I do want to say there's some things that I saw in the East Blue arc that automatically made me look at Luffy in a different way. The first thing I want to talk about is Luffy versus Don Krieg, and he did a lot of cool stuff in the Don Krieg fight, but the most coolest thing I saw was when he broke the steel. Yes, Don Krieg had a steel sheet and he broke it. It's just crazy how he broke Don Krieg's weapon, and it was made of steel. Because I remember in the Alabasta arc, Zoro was trying to cut steel for the first time, and that was a crazy feat, and I was like, yo, that's crazy epic. But Luffy in the East Blue was already breaking steel, so that just shows you how strong of a character he was in the East Blue. And also we saw him break Arlong's sharp metal weapon, or I don't know what material it was made out of, but it was a crazy strong weapon, and he broke it with his fingertips. We also saw him break Arlong's nose to the left, which is very crazy. These feats are just strength feats we saw from Luffy in the East Blue, showing how powerful he was. Now, Luffy versus Crocodile. Honestly, Crocodile was the first time Luffy actually faced a challenge in the One Piece series when you're following the series. And I gotta say, it was pretty cool how we saw Luffy kept on getting defeated. He kept on coming back, trying to use different attacks. We saw Water Luffy, and I think the coolest part was when Luffy actually used his own blood. And I said, yo, he's a battle genius though. The man thought of cutting himself and using his own blood to counter Crocodile's Logia fruit ability, which is very crazy, very impressive by Luffy. And I do want to say this, when Luffy finally defeated Crocodile with his storm attack, you saw the actual bedrock break, and Vivi's father was so surprised, like he actually was strong enough to break the bedrock. That just shows you how immensely strong Luffy's raw strength was. Very impressive. And I think we also have to talk about is his resilience. getting defeated and almost killed by Crocodile not once, 2 times, and coming back for a 3rd battle. That just shows you how resilient Luffy is, and it goes back to a child. We know that Garp used to throw Luffy into the forest as a kid, and Sanji later made a statement saying that all that, now we know where Luffy gets all that resilience from. So it's crazy how his childhood things come back and shows you how why Luffy is that way and why he's so determined to keep on getting back up and to keep on fighting for his friends, for himself. Yo, I'm telling you right now, yo, Luffy is the man. And I gotta say here, another moment in his childhood I want to talk about real quickly is when Luffy was captured by Blue Jam and they were torturing him and he still wouldn't snitch on Sabo and Ace. Yes, Luffy did not pull a D'Angelo Russell and snitch on his boys Sabo and Ace. He really didn't know Sabo like that, and Ace was so surprised, like, why didn't you tell him? Like, what's wrong with you? It just shows you, man, Luffy is a character that you just have to love, man. I'm telling you guys right now. Now, in the Enel fight, there's not really much I can talk about when it comes to his strength. That battle was more of a Luffy being the only counter to Enel with his rubber fruit abilities. We're not talking about Haki because Haki wasn't there at that time. But the thing I want to talk about in this fight was a moment where Enel was using his mantra, and his mantra was really making it tough for Luffy to fight him. And I gotta say, it was kind of crazy how Luffy uses Battle Genius to actually ricochet his punches off of this wall to make it unexpected. Because once he was using his Gatling on the wall and it was ricocheting off to Enel, the punches were so unexpected that Mantra couldn't be able to use it against it because all the punches were randomly punching. So it just shows you how smart of a character when it comes to fighting. Luffy in general is not really smart, but when he comes to fighting, Luffy knows how to use his head when he's in a situation where he has to use that Battle Genius, which I've been saying like a broken record, but I gotta keep on saying it. Now let's be honest here, when it came to Luffy and actually improving, the biggest improvement we saw pre-time skip was Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. And the reason why Luffy honestly did get Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd, it started off with the Aokiji. Luffy faced an Admiral and saw how weak he was compared to an Admiral, and that's when Luffy first saw himself as, I gotta get stronger. We also know that he saw CP9's attacks, and like I said, a broken record, he's a Battle Genius. He saw the attacks, Soru, and he said, I gotta try to do the same thing, try to do the same attack, and he pumped his blood just like CP9 was doing their Soru attack. And we also know that he met giants on Little Garden, and that probably was hinting him towards the Gear 3rd attack. And Luffy, Gear 2nd, Gear 3rd showed, like, look at how Gear 2nd did against Blue No, he was gonna use Gear 3rd, but like he had to hold it back. And then we saw Gear 3rd against Lucci, just breaking him. Like, Lucci seemed fine, and then 1 second later, all that damage from Gear 3rd's attack just hit him right there and actually helped Luffy in that battle. And I gotta say, Luffy using Jet Gatlin against Lucci, woo, that's probably one of the most iconic moments in the One Piece series. And we also know later on in Thriller Bark arc, Luffy combined Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. This is the only time that Luffy combined Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. It was really taxing on his body, but Luffy wanted to go to the next level. That's how badly he wanted it. Now, the last thing I'm gonna talk about pre-time skip Luffy, because a lot of you guys are like, yo, come on, this is how strong Luffy is. Why the hell are you talking about pre-time skip? Because I want to talk about how Luffy is pre-time skip and then go into post-time skip. But the last thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to pre-time skip is Nightmare Luffy. And the reason why I'm talking about Nightmare Luffy, even though like it has no like really stance on Luffy's actual strength, is just how crazy powerful this move transformation was, because it was able to fight an Oz that was being controlled by Moria and had Luffy's personality, in which he was able to actually stretch like Luffy. He pretty much had the Gumma Gumma no Mi like Luffy. That's how crazy powerful Oz was. And honestly, Nightmare Luffy whooped Oz's ass. It had no chance. This is how strong Nightmare Luffy was. And it made me think, what if Nightmare Luffy had Haki? What if Nightmare Luffy was combined with Gear 4th, This just shows you how crazy Nightmare Luffy could be in the future. Gotta get some respect. People are saying there's might be theories of Moria returning to help Luffy out against Kaido. I'm not too sure, but just thinking about Nightmare Luffy in the future, if it comes back again, would be crazy. Now, I'm gonna talk about Luffy's time skip training just for a little bit. Now, there is some things in Luffy's time skip training I'm gonna save for the end of this video, but the thing I want to talk about is the basics. Luffy was trained by Rayleigh, the right-hand man to the Pirate King. What a trainer Luffy got. lot. And the basics of haki he was learning: Armament Haki, Observation Haki, and Conqueror's Haki. And he also mastered Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. And I gotta say, the results of this training was amazing. We saw immediately Luffy was using Conqueror's Haki like it was nothing when pre-time skip he couldn't. He was able to dodge the Pacifista's attacks with his Observation Haki and go out of nowhere, hit him with a nasty punch, and use Armament Haki to destroy the Pacifista in one hit, in which pre-time skip it took the whole Straw Hat Pirates to defeat a Pacifista. And seeing his Gear 2nd attacks easily with his arm, just pulls it out, and Gear 3rd, where he doesn't get turned into a small little tiny person, he actually got him not just stronger, he got way stronger. So I gotta give some respect to Luffy's actual time skip trainer. It was lit. And I could talk about other fights like Hody or Caesar, but I'm Don Chinja. I'm just gonna skip to Doflamingo because that's the fight. Now we have to talk about how strong Luffy is, and I'm not gonna talk about these little things. Let's just get right to it. Doflamingo. This fight truly understands how strong of a character Luffy was. Now, Luffy did have other fights prior to Doflamingo's battle, and Doflamingo wasn't 100%. Just like Luffy, I don't think Luffy was 100%, but Luffy was more had better health than actual Doflamingo. Doflamingo got hit with a nasty gamma knife in which you had to stitch his organs back together. And Luffy even stated that after Doflamingo said, "Oh, you look like you're not in the best shape," and Luffy's like, "You just got hit with a nasty attack by a Law. You're definitely not in the best shape. I'm probably better shape than you." And Luffy's like, "I gotta take advantage of Law's crazy attack." So Luffy knows that Doflamingo was more injured than Luffy. So a lot of people saying that Luffy was equal to Doflamingo. No, let's get this as a fact. Doflamingo was more injured than Luffy, and Luffy just had a little bit scratches. He not really wasn't injured like Doflamingo was. So you gotta understand the basics of this fight. Now that just gives you a heads up that Luffy had an advantage already, and his base form is pretty much useless against Doflamingo. His Gear 3rd attacks, Grizzly Magnum, was too slow, but he had the power. His Gear 2nd attacks were pretty fast, but he did not have the actual power to go against Doflamingo. And this is what drove Luffy to go to the next level and use his transformation that he's been saving throughout the whole post-time skip. So it just shows you how useless his base form was against Doflamingo. Doflamingo had his base form pretty much under control. Now, before I talk about the faults of Luffy's base form, let's just talk about it. Gear 4th. I mentioned it earlier really quickly, but now let's actually talk about the actual transformation. And I gotta give respect to Gear 4th. It whooped Doflamingo's ass. Every single situation, Gear 4th looked like it had the advantage. Now, there was a moment where, like, after Luffy used Kong Gun and Rhino Schneider and Culverin Gun, like all these attacks that Luffy used, he finally was stopped a little bit. And what I mean when I say stopped, he was stalled for about like 20 minutes because Doflamingo pulled out Awakening, and Awakening seemed to have Gear 4th stalled for a little bit and have him squirming a little bit. It didn't really overwhelm Luffy, but it had Luffy thinking for a little bit how to dodge these attacks. Like the buildings return to strings, you can't really blame Luffy. Awakening was a very impressive attack by Doflamingo. But after that Awakening, Luffy did use Leo Bazooka and smashed Doflamingo towards the wall, and he thought it was over, but Luffy knew he needed one more attack to take out Doflamingo. And what happens? The transformation runs out. And this is the biggest weakness for Gear 4th. He can't hold up Gear 4th for too long, and against top tier characters, like Doflamingo really isn't a top tier character. He's a very strong character, but like imagine top tier characters, they're killing you instantly. And the only reason why Luffy was able to survive was because of Gantz and the Coliseum Fighters giving Luffy 10 minutes to get his haki back. And Law stated earlier, Luffy's using too much haki. So it just shows you he needs to learn how to use more haki than he has right now, and he needs to perfect Gear 4th's weakness. Even Rayleigh said it during the time skip. Gear 4th is too taxing on your body. You need another method. So this shows you Gear 4th was very impressive, but we can't ignore the faults that Gear 4th also had. But it's to be expected because Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, when he first introduced those moves, they also had faults just like Gear 4th had. So that just shows you how strong Gear 4th is. Now, King Kong Gun is the most impressive attack that I've seen from Luffy throughout the whole post-time skip, throughout the series that Luffy has shown. King Kong Gun is the most impressive. Its DC, its destructive capability is amazing, and I think there's only a few characters in the One Piece series that can actually take it head on, and Doflamingo obviously could not take that attack head on. But the thing is, King Kong Gun how easy is it for Luffy to use King Kong gun? It seems like this attack is like in a situation where Luffy went to the sky and Doflamingo was like, okay, in the sky, I'm amazing at the sky. And he how do I say this? He didn't really see how strong this attack was. But if you dodge King Kong gun, yo, is Luffy pretty much finished? And that's why I feel like with King Kong gun, we have to see it more times against other characters to see how he actually can pull this attack out in a regular fight out of nowhere, pull a King Kong gun and see if the opponent stays down. Now, spoiler alert, if you are an anime only, mute the video. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, mute the video. I'm gonna talk about some manga events when it comes to Monkey D. Luffy, and then I will take the spoiler warning away. But yeah, let's talk about it. Manga spoilers right now. Cracker versus Luffy. Cracker, the sweet commander, one of Big Mom's top strongest pirates versus Monkey D. Luffy. And what did we get shown again? Luffy's base form is not strong enough. It just showcased the weakness of Luffy, that he needs to get his base form stronger. His armament haki was not strong enough to go against Cracker's armament haki, and it wasn't even the real Cracker. After Luffy used Gear 4th and destroyed that Cracker, it was just a soldier that Cracker was using, and he can actually summon multiple characters of that level. So Cracker was able to summon multiple characters of that level, of Luffy's base form level and stronger. Oh my goodness, yo, these Yonko commanders are crazy powerful. And when Luffy summoned Gear 4th and took out that imposter of a Cracker, the soldier, the biscuit soldier, yeah, then he had to fight the real Cracker, and he used Gear 4th multiple times in an 11-hour span. And it just showcased how, like, when Gear 4th is going up against a guy who's on Doflamingo's level, who is 100%, the guy was pretty much, Cracker was pretty much having Gear 4th on the wrap up. Like, it was pretty much easy to go against Gear 4th. He actually penetrated Gear 4th's haki and cut Gear 4th. I have never seen something do that to Gear 4th. I'm saying Gear 4th like millions of times, but I gotta say it right now. What it showcased the Cracker and Luffy battle is that even Gear 4th, when going up against a strong young commander, wasn't enough. And 11 hours of going back and forth, getting Gear 4th and running away, and then going to fight Cracker and running away, and then going to fight Cracker and running away. Cracker was stronger than Luffy. I think we all should agree with this. And a Yonko commander, and honestly, Cracker seems like the third strongest, maybe the young commander and Big Mom's crew. I definitely feel like the other two young commanders, Smoothie and Potato Starch, are stronger than Cracker. So yeah, it showcases that the young commander are stronger than Luffy. Now, he was able to defeat Cracker. I will give Luffy some credit. Tankman was a very cool defensive form, but yeah, Luffy needed Nami's help to soften up the biscuits, to actually eat them, and then he needed Nami's help when he told Nami not to soften the biscuits anymore, and ricocheted Cracker off his own attacks, off his own biscuit soldiers, and pretty much taking out Cracker in that way. So yeah, Tankman was a cool form, and I want to see more of it, but let's be honest here. Yeah, this did not make me think Luffy was above Cracker. Now, how strong do I actually think Luffy is? And honestly, looking at it, his base form, his Gear 4th attack transformation, his Tank Man, Luffy seemingly has the ability to go fight a Yonko commander. Has the ability, yes, to go fight a young commander, top young commander, but he doesn't seem to have the ability to actually defeat a young commander if it's one-on-one. So it's tough for me to say that Luffy is actually Yonko commander level. Yes, I'm sorry, but I think I can't do this because from what I've seen, he seemingly is not Yonko commander level. He can fight a young commander, and from what I've seen, Luffy seems to be mid-tier Yonko commander level, or no, not mid-tier, that's a little disrespectful to Luffy. Right under a young commander, a top young commander, like not like I can't say Ace, but Marco, Jozu, Jack, Cracker, Doflamingo, Sabo, these kind of characters, right under them. He's able to fight with these characters and he might have a chance to win, but I can't give him the odds. The odds always go to the other characters. So that's where I have Luffy right now. He needs to get his base form stronger. He needs to master Gear 4th like he did his other gears, and he needs to gain new transformations. Awakening is the big one I hope Luffy gets. So I'm excited for the future of Luffy. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section. How strong do you think Luffy is? I know you guys have some colorful opinions, and I can't wait to read them in the comment section. Like and share if you enjoyed, like and share only if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.